Good afternoon to all of you and welcome to the session. Before I start the session, at the outset, wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. And those who have wished, thank you very much. As usual, let us start the session with the snippets. I hope 2025 will bring success to all of you. Thank you very much. At the outset, the first snippet, Q4 conditions, status quo on rates for small savings. We have one important expression here, status quo. Status quo, thank you very much. Status quo means same situation, no improvement, no change, same situation. We use a foreign expression, status quo. I wish you all the same, thank you. And otherwise there's nothing to learn. The next snippet says 21 days later. There's one word here. Zenith to be returned to Similipal. To be returned. Someone is to return something. Something is to be returned. It is in passive voice. And there's one expression here, later. Thank you very much and wish you all the same. Later, latter, two different words you have to recollect. What is the first one? It has a single T. What is the second one? Double T. Spelling changes, pronunciation also changes. Later deals with the time aspect. He has come later than I expected. Latter talks about the position. Of the two writers, I like the latter. When you learn the word latter, you should also learn the word former. Former has two different meanings. One meaning, when we say former president, you all know what it means. But here former and latter, when we talk about these two terms, first in position, second in position, that you have to recollect. Let us go to the third snippet, bilateral talks. Jaishankar in Doha for 3-day visit. Grammar point of view, this is important. Easy to understand. And a 3-day visit, nothing complicated, all simple words. But exam point of view, you have to think of something. Many a time they have given 3 days visit. That is wrong. Because visit is a noun. Before that, the adjective cannot be in the plural form. Common error, 3 days visit, that is wrong. 3-day visit is correct. Otherwise, nothing to learn. Data point, India scores high on social hostilities. Index. Two important words, exam point of view. Violence over religion results in a 9.3 score. But what are the two important words from the exam point of view? First one, hostility. Hostile, from that you get hostilities. Singular, hostility. Means what? You have to think of words like enmity. Antagonistic. You don't like someone, some sort of animosity. We use the word hostile, antagonistic and enmity. Enmity, you have to be careful with spelling. Usually we say enmity, but what is the spelling of that word? E-N-M-I-T-Y, enmity. That you have to be careful. And index, I have told many a time. Nouns of Latin and Greek origin, they don't take S or ES for the plural forms. For example, index, you can say indices, you can say indexes, but generally we use indices. Matrix, matrices, criterion singular, criteria plural. All these you have to recollect. Very good. That also you can say. Nagashri, I suppose. Reigning supreme. Bengal regains the Santosh Trophy. The word reign, R-E-I-G-N. Reign supreme, reigning champions, means at present, incumbent champions, you can say. And reign means to control, to be in control. There is another reign, R-E-I-N. That means, imagine you want to control a horse, you use leather straps. But for those also we say reins, but the spelling changes. Now let us go to the main headline, today's paper. Byron expresses regret for violence in Manipur. After being silent for many months, now the Chief Minister expresses what? Regret for violence in Manipur. Words are very simple. Context also. I've done many editorials. You guys remember. More than twice. Here we have a snippet. Atishi and Lieutenant Governor spar over religious structures. There is one important word here. Spar. Spar means what? Argument. Some sort of argument, we use the word spar. This also we have got many a time. Another snippet here. Kashmir cold wave continues to intensify. Intensify. Cold wave. Last time we got dry spell, cold spell, if you remember. There they used the word spell. Here, intensify, become more serious. And we have on today is what? The first day of the new year, 2025. Obviously, there should be a pic on the front page of any newspaper for that matter. Here we have Welcome 2025. Usually it begins in Sydney, Australia. Pic also goes with that. Festivities begin, means celebrations begin. Fireworks exploding over the Sydney Opera House and Harbour Bridge as the new year dawns in the Australian city. There is one important word. Dawns. Thank you very much. Wish you all the same. And this year should bring success to all of you. When it comes to the word dawn, you have to think of dusk. There are two words, dawn, dusk. What usually literal meaning. Dawn means the time before the sunrise. Dusk means the time after the sunset. That time it is not too dark. Then we say dusk. And before the sunrise it is not too dark. You can see things. Then we say dawn. One meaning. Here dawns in the Australian city. Here dawn means to come, to arrive. Another meaning based on the context. We have something over here. Houthi factor makes India cautious on Nimisha case. Cautious is not correct. We have to say cautious. Precious is not correct. We have to say precious. A lot of people say time is precious. No, time is precious. Like that, cautious. Thank you very much. Nothing to learn as such. Supreme Court gives Punjab 3 more days to shift Dalewal. All simple words, nothing to learn. Here we have South Korean court issues warrants to detain Yoon. There are 2 words you have to focus on from the exam point of view. One, warrant. You all know it goes with arrest. Arrest warrant, everyone knows. But here warrant has another meaning. Imagine I say the situation warrants something. Means demands something. Warrant also means demand. That you have to know. And the other one, detain. We got last week, I suppose. Detain is a verb. Detention is a noun form. When someone is arrested, taken to the police station, and the person is not allowed to go out, then we say the person has been detained in the police station and he had to undergo detention. Detention is a noun form. Both the words are important. We have another important news item, headline here. Kerala CM Vijayan supports Shivagiri Mutt's call to end practice of removing shirts at temples. From this, what do you understand? It looks like there is a practice when it comes to going to a temple, visiting temples. What is that practice? Removing the shirts. And they want to put an end to this practice. Kerala CM Vijayan supports Shivagiri Mutt's call to end practice of removing shirts at temples. It is related to culture. And there is an important word from the exam point of view. What is that word? Practice. TIC is a noun form and TISC is a verb form. That you have to recollect immediately. Many a time, more than 20 times they give questions based on practice. Because what happens, when we read, we take things for granted under pressure. And you may not look at the spelling, you may take it for granted. But if you read meticulously, then you can make out and you will be able to spot the error. That's all from the front page of today's Hindu paper. Here we have a pic. What does the pic say? Hindu also wishes its readers a happy and prosperous new year. Now let us go to today's editorial. Today's editorial, certain new features have been added. I hope they will be useful. As usual, before we go to the session, editorial analysis, a pertinent question. What is the benefit if you watch the session for 30 or 40 minutes? You are going to improve your reading comprehension skill at the outset, editorial analysis, vocabulary and grammar. You will improve your contextual awareness. You will improve your reading comprehension skill. You will improve your, after this, if you read, after the session, you read the editorial, it improves your speed of reading as well. And there are questions based on inference, summary, writer's view, tone, theme, title. All these go with exam topics. Any passage, these are the things usually they touch. Besides, I have brought mini mocks, questions based on fillers, error location, word usage, synonyms, antonyms, parajumbles, all these. Let us go to today's effective vocabulary or editorial vocabulary. Actually, this editorial is all about a plane crash. Not a good editorial to begin with, but the other one is not related to us, international news. But here, this one, whatever I bring, do remember I bring from English proficiency point of view. There is something to learn. Grim, the very first word, part of speech, adjective, meaning serious, worrying or distressing in nature. Grim reality, grim future, not positive, negative. Example sentence, the grim news of the crash shocked the aviation world. Grim news, grim future, grim situation. Always try to get the word combinations that will help in the long run. It is about the crash shocked the aviation world. Word forms grimly adverb, grimness noun, and grim is adjective. Word combinations, one grim reminder means a sad reminder, you can say, and grim situation I have just used. Word usage, the crash serves as a grim reminder. Here it has been used with the noun reminder of the importance of aviation safety. Synonyms, dismal, bleak, somber. All the three words are important. The future looks dismal, means what? Not positive. And bleak, that is also an important word. We usually say bleak future, that combination you have to know. And somber, sober, two different words, you got to be a little careful. Somber goes more with grim, bleak, dismal, one group. But sober, imagine someone has taken drinks, hot drinks. After taking hot drinks, the person is not intoxicated and is not drunk, remains cool, balanced, poised. Then we use the word sober. That is an important word. Antonyms, cheerful, bright, hopeful. Cheerful is an important word. Cheerful means what? Always smiling. In my opinion, I feel it is God's gift. Some people are always smiling, always cheerful. That is nothing but God's gift. So there is so much to learn based on the word grim. Let us go to the second word. Extinguish. Extinguish goes with fire. I'm sure many of you know. Part of speech, verb. It's a regular verb. Extinguish, extinguished, extinguished. To put an end to or stop something, especially a fire. As I said, it goes with fire. Example, the fire was extinguished after causing significant damage. When you look at the examples also, you have to think of grammar. The fire was extinguished. Which tense is that? Past tense, passive voice. I extinguished the fire. Past tense, active voice. The fire was extinguished by me. Passive voice. Word forms, extinguished, past form, extinguishing, present participle, extinguisher, noun. Word combinations, extinguish fire, extinguish hope. That is a new combination. If someone has a hope, you put an end to that hope. Then you can say extinguish hope, a new combination. Word usage, the fire extinguished 179 lives in the tragic accident. Here the fire extinguished, usually it is the other way. Thank you very much, wish you the same. Nibesh Shri. Usually we extinguish the fire. Look at this example. The fire extinguished 197 lives. Means what? It put an end to those lives in the tragic accident. Synonyms: quench, douse, smother. All the three words are important, but of the three words, first one is quite familiar. When you feel thirsty, what do? You try to quench your thirst. It goes with thirst. Quench your thirst. You need water. And the other two words are important. Douse goes with, imagine someone wants to kill himself in public. He may take a can of petrol and pour all over his body. Then we say douse. That goes with that context. Thank you and wish you the same. Yadav, Rupa Yadav. And smother, also an important word. Antonyms: ignite, spark, kindle. Ignite, you all know. Spark, you all know. And kindle, that's an important word you have to. Usually kindle means to initiate. We say kindle someone's interest. Means bring out someone's interest or enthusiasm. Environs, very important word. Many of you, I'm sure you know the word environment or environment, but this is a different word. Environs singular, environs plural. Part of speech, obviously noun. The surrounding area or environment. Here this environment is different. When we say environ, it means the surrounding area. Singular environs, plural environs. Example sentence: the airport's environs are home to a variety of bird species. What do you understand from this? The surroundings of the airport or the habitat or home to a variety of birds. Word forms: environ verb, environment or environment noun. Word combinations: natural environs, urban environs. When you see the word urban, you immediately have to recollect or think of another word. What is that? Urbane. Tell me, what is the difference between urban, urbane? Urban is opposite of rural. Urbane means polished, refined, sophisticated, civilized. All these words we can use. Urbane, in a way stylish, sophisticated, civilized, refined, polished. I think recently they've given this as a question. Word usage: the wetland environs of the airport contributed to bird activity. Wetland ecosystem contributed to bird activity. Synonyms: surroundings, vicinity, an important word, neighborhood. But subtle differences. Neighborhood, American expression. British and Indian, we use words like colony, residential area, but Americans use neighborhood, and it goes with a different context. Vicinity goes more with what you can see. I don't see a big building in the near vicinity. Means whatever I can see, there I don't see a building. That is also an important word. Antonyms: core, center. Not exactly, in a way. Lethal. Lethal goes with weapons usually. It goes with other combinations as well. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning: deadly or causing death. Example sentence: the lethal combination of factors led to the tragic crash. We have a new combination here. Lethal weapons, a typical combination. But what is the combination used in this example? The lethal combination of various factors led to the tragic crash. Word forms: lethally, adverb. Word combinations: lethal weapon, lethal accident. Accident, we use word fatal, F-A-T-A-L. Word usage: the bird strike had lethal consequences, another combination. Lethal consequences, deadly consequences for the aircraft. Synonyms: deadly, this I've just used, fatal, toxic. But toxic goes more with fumes, toxic fumes, that's a different combination. Harmless, safe, benign, an important word you have to remember. Benign means something good, something positive. Distress, distress call, a typical expression. Part of speech, it can be noun, it can be verb. Extreme anxiety, sorrow or pain. Example, the distress call. As I said, whenever someone is in danger, he or she tries to call someone and with a lot of fear, panicking. Then we say distress call. The distress call from the cockpit, where the pilot sits when you take an aeroplane, indicated a severe emergency. Word forms distressed, past form, adjective also, distressing, past participle also same, distressingly adverb. Word combinations, emotional distress, distress signal, distress call. These combinations are important. Word usage, the passengers were in distress. Distress is a state of being. When you experience, thank you very much, Neha, wish you the same. When you are in severe pain or anxiety or you undergo some sort of stress, that state is also called distress. Were in distress as the aircraft struggled to land. Anguish, severe pain, trouble, suffering. Comfort, ease, and relief. All these words we have got many a time. Ease has two different meanings. One, ease means comfort. He spoke with a lot of ease. He played with a lot of ease, means comfort. And when it comes to ease, there's a phrasal verb. What is that phrasal verb? Ease off. Imagine initially heavy rain. After some time, it came down, intensity got reduced. Then we say the rain has eased off. That you have to know. Cripple. I've given this word many a time, cripple. Part of speech, verb, noun, meaning as a verb to cause severe damage or disable something. You make something, you make an impact on something that cannot work, then we say you have made it a cripple. Noun, a person or thing that is severely damaged or impaired. Usually we use this, thank you very much, Raghav Reddy, wish you the same. We use it with, after the accident, someone cannot use their legs, then we say he became a cripple. But cripple could be physical, it could be mental. Shock, people become mental cripples. And usually accidents, they become, physically they become cripples. Example, the bird strike crippled the aircraft's landing capabilities. Word forms, crippling, adjective, verb, crippled, past form, cripplingly, adverb. Word combinations. Cripple an operation, cripple a system. Means what? Damage something. Word usage. The crash crippled airport operations for several hours. Means they could not operate the airport. Synonyms. Disable, impair, paralyze. Common word. Strengthen, restore, enable. Hurtle. Hurtle is a new word. Hurtle means what? To slide. Part of speech verb, meaning to move or cause to move at a high speed, often in an uncontrolled manner. Something moves very fast after losing control, then we use hurtle. Example, the aircraft hurtled down the runway before hitting the concrete structure. Word forms, hurtling, present participle, hurtled, past form. Word combinations, hurtle through space, hurtle toward disaster, move towards a disaster. Thank you very much. Who is this? Rubesh, Sri and Nagarjun. Thanks a lot. Wish you all the same. Word usage. The crippled plane hurtled toward the end of the runway. Synonyms, rush, race, speed. Antonyms, crawl, halt, dawdle. Important word. Crawl goes with babies. Dawdle you have to remember. Halt is a simple word. Trump. We all know Trump, noun, and the US president, former president, about to become, he's going to be the president of the US. But here it is a verb, it can be a noun, a different meaning altogether. As a verb to surpass or outdo something or someone. as a noun, a decisive or superior factor that overcomes challenges. Something that can overcome. It can overcome challenges, then we use the word trump. Example, the unusual concrete wall trumped operational safety measures. They could not deal with that. Word forms, trumping present participle, trumped past form, not tense form. Word combinations, trump a plan, trump an argument. Rarely we use this word. Word usage, the unexpected circumstances trumped the crew's efforts to control the aircraft. Means they could not control. Things went beyond their control. Synonyms, outdo, surpass, overtake. Antonyms, fail, fall short, lose. That's all about the editorial vocabulary. Let us go to actual editorial. But before we do that analysis, editorial overview. This editorial reflects on the recent air crash in South Korea involving a Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 and highlights the critical lessons based on the crash for global aviation safety. It emphasizes the need for better pilot training, effective airport safety measures, and adherence to international aviation standards to prevent such tragedies. Any tragedy, obviously, you can expect an article based on a tragedy. Why it happened, where it happened, how it happened, what are the lessons to be learned in future, how to prevent or avoid or thwart similar accidents, some solutions, some remedies. Let us see how it starts. The stimulus, learning lessons on the air crash in South Korea. Main idea, flight crew all over the world need better training for rare emergencies. Flight crew all over the world need something. This is a phrase. Need what? Better training. Better training again for what? For rare emergencies. Have you got it? Flight crew all over the world need better training for rare emergencies. Why does the editorial say? Obviously, there should be some reason. The reason behind the crash. Here, today I have brought differently. There are about 17 to 18 sentences. I have numbered the sentences. We'll look at each sentence and try to understand grammar point of view, comprehension point of view, vocabulary point of view. First sentence, what does it say? The grim footage of a Boeing 737-800 sliding across the runway at Mon Airport to end as a fireball extinguishing 179 lives will forever be a reminder of an air crash that holds important lessons for everyone from airport authorities to aviation regulators to airline pilots. The sentence says the image of that particular plane crash, the plane changing into a fireball and extinguishing 179 lives, it is going to be an important reminder. It is going to be an important lesson to learn. And it is going to be a lesson for people who belong to that particular sector. Who are those people? Holds important lessons for everyone from one, airport authorities, second, airport regulators, and third, airline pilots. All these people have to learn a lesson based on that particular plane crash. And here it is obviously a lengthy sentence. How do you comprehend this? The grim footage of something. What? You can think of that. Where? Across a runway at Mian Airport to end as a fireball extinguishing 179 lives. Here the grim footage will forever be. See how writers present the information. Subject is a grim footage. And in between we have phrases and clauses, and the main verb that goes with the subject. The footage will forever be a reminder of an air crash that holds important lessons. You have to be very careful when you read lengthy sentences. For everyone from all these people. Let us go to the second sentence. What does it say? First sentence, the main idea is the accident holds lessons for different people. Sentence number 2. Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 on a scheduled flight from Thailand's Suvarnabhumi Airport was on approach to Muan International Airport in South Korea's southwestern corner after air traffic control cleared its landing on a single runway. Obviously, this sentence talks about what is the name of that flight, from where it started, and it started from Thailand and it was to land here. And before landing, it got clearance from the traffic control. Air traffic control has to clear. Air traffic control cleared its landing on the single runway. It also talks about the infrastructure. Single runway, still it got the clearance. Third sentence says, there was also a caution of bird activity. Though pilot got clearance, there was a word of caution, it seems, regarding bird activity. I don't know how many of you know, many a time in and around an airport, you come across birds, especially vultures, eagles, and sometimes they hit the aircrafts, and that results in accidents, plane crashes. There was also a caution of bird activity. The airfield's environs, surroundings, what are the environs of this airport? Oceanic setting with also some wetland are known to host a variety of avian life. If you take this particular airport where the accident took place, the environs, one is oceanic setting and second some wetland. And these wetlands, they provide the habitat to a variety of bird species. Aviation means bird species. It talks about the location. Next sentence, what does it say? The airport uses non-lethal and lethal bird scare techniques during operating hours. Because they have this bird scare, they have this problem. Aviation life is around the airport. They must have been using some sort of techniques to keep away the birds. One, the airport uses non-lethal and lethal bird scare techniques. Lethal means what? Deadly. During operating hours. Next sentence. From that point on, the aircraft transitioned from what seemed a stable approach to a phase of multiple issues, with Mayday, 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 bird hit being one such call by the crew who were in apparent distress. When they got the clearance, the sentence says, when they got the clearance, till that point, everything was perfect, everything was flawless. But after that something happened. What happened? They received a call. The call says, and I don't know how many of you know, ships, aeroplanes, when someone is in danger, someone is in distress, they send the signal Mayday, means they are in danger. From that point on, the aircraft transitioned from what seemed to be a stable approach to a phase of multiple issues. Initially, it seemed like everything was flawless, everything was perfect. But later, multiple issues came up. And one of the issues, a message with Mayday, 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 bird hit being one such call by the crew who were in apparent distress. Apparent means obvious. Distress, a state of anxiety. The go-around and subsequent landing have led aviation experts to raise questions about the responses by the crew and also that of air traffic control. Initially, the pilot must have gone around. Later, the pilot tried to land. The go-around and subsequent landing have led aviation experts to raise questions. That resulted in the crash. Based on that, experts to raise questions about the responses by the crew and also that of air traffic control. The sentence talks about, in a way, pointing the finger towards one aircraft crew, the other one air traffic control. Both perhaps experts raise the questions regarding these two. The next sentence says, what exactly happened at the time of the touchdown? The touchdown with the landing gear up had the crippled a craft, hurtling on its fuselage and engines and impacting a concrete structure at the runway end, housing crucial ground-based landing aids. Usually when a plane tries to land, the landing gear has to come out and the plane has to land on the landing gear. But the landing gear did not function. It got crippled and the plane had to land on its base. Obviously, there you have the fuel tanks, all those things. This sentence talks about that. The touchdown with the landing gear up. It should be down actually. Landing gear should be down, not up. Had the crippled craft hurtling on its fuselage and engines. When the landing gear does not function, the plane lands flat on the ground and impacting a concrete structure at the runway end, housing crucial ground-based landing aids. And it went into hit a concrete structure, and that place houses crucial ground-based landing aids. Next sentence talks about, in focus is the unusual concrete wall which the Korean authorities have said is found in other airports in Korea and was built according to the country's code. It seems there is a concrete wall which is not usual, unusual concrete wall. And when asked about that, they must have said there is a norm. In other airports also in Korea, there is a similar structure, unusual concrete structure. No justification regarding that, but they must have said it is country's code. Whether this follows, that particular unusual structure, concrete wall, whether it follows the international standards or not. Next sentence talks about that. Whether this follows ICAO's Annex 14 standards aerodrome will need investigation. Based on this, they are going to initiate investigation. Some accident investigators have called this the key factor that trumped operational safety, affected operational safety, overwhelming the flapless, gearless landing. Some experts believe that unusual concrete wall is a main reason for this mishap or unfortunate incident. Some accident investigators have called this the key factor, important factor that overtook operational safety, overwhelming the flapless, gearless landing. The accident, South Korea's worst in decades, comes amidst a political crisis. Right now they are experiencing a political crisis. The former president impeached, and incumbent president also going to be impeached. There is a political turmoil, political crisis. In the middle of this political crisis, this major plane crash. Wrong timing in a way. However, the new acting president, Chow Sang-mok, seems to be steering the response. Steering means directing the response with a task force in place and the authorities having been instructed. It is in passive voice to review aviation operations and inspect airline fleets. Generally, the word fleet goes with ships and fleet of ships, squadron of aeroplanes. But large number of buses or cars or taxis or aeroplanes belonging to a particular group, we can use the word fleet. Next sentence talks about what? The Ministry of Transport's highlighting of several issues would need a thorough probe, especially with representatives from the US's NTSB, the FAA, and the aircraft manufacturer Boeing on board. Some sort of investigation has to take place. Boeing will again find the spotlight back on its workhorse, the 737. Workhorse means a major source for revenues or the most important thing for a particular organization. And this belongs to a company, Boeing company, will again find the spotlight back on its workhorse, the 737. Spotlight we have got many a time. What does it mean? To be in the limelight, to be focused. This sentence talks about, while the accident is a first for Jeju Air, a popular 41 jet budget airline, air safety in South Korea is generally considered to be of industry best practice. It seems South Korea known for the best practice when it comes to industry standards. In spite of that, they had to face this. Every accident has its lessons. Now the last sentence, I suppose. Yes. The main idea is being reiterated. What is that? Every accident has its lessons, and for India too. With air travel on the rise, there must be a thorough review of every aspect of crew training as well as of runway safety at its 157 operational airports. How many airports do we have? 157. And whoever is there, they have to be trained at any cost, and that is the main idea of the editorial. It ends on that note. It is like a solution, a remedy. Let us go to questions based on reading comprehension skill. The first one, summary based question. What is the primary focus of the editorial? Or how can you summarize the editorial? The political crisis in South Korea? No. The technical aspects of Boeing 737-800 aircraft? No. Lessons for aviation safety from the South Korea air crash. It is all about the lessons to be learned. Very good. Who is that? Nagashri. Perfect. And also Mahidar. So many students have got it right. Inference based. What can be inferred about the role of bird activity in the accident? It directly caused the landing gear failure. It was a contributory factor that worsened the emergency situation. Bird activity was minimal? No. The airport's bird scare techniques are completely ineffective. We should not take a single factor. Broad factor many factors and general statement we have to consider. B looks like the answer, but answer is D. The airport's bird scare techniques are completely ineffective. They have been using lethal, non-lethal. They have been ineffective. That is inference you can make. D is the answer. Writer's view. According to the writer, what is critical, what is important for improving aviation safety globally? Increasing the number of airports in wetland areas? No. Developing more budget airlines like Jeju Air? No. Conducting thorough reviews of crew training and airport infrastructure. There are two things which are important. One is training to crew, the other one airport infrastructure. C is the answer. Many students have got it right. Title based question. Which of the following would be an alternative suitable title for the editorial? Bird strikes, a growing challenge for aviation. The importance of ICAO standards in global aviation. Learning from tragedy, air safety lessons from South Korea. This would be better. It is not about bird strikes, it is about the aviation tragedy. Based on the tragedy, the lessons one has to learn. It is not about this. Good. 4C is the answer. Explicit information. Explicit information means already mentioned in the passage or mentioned in the editorial, and based on the key words in the question, navigate, locate, you get the answer. What is the question here? What was a distress call made by the flight crew? Obviously, Mayday. That's what people do when they get exposed. Thank you very much. Wish you the same, Mahesh. Mayday, 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 bird hit. Answer is B. Clearly mentioned in the passage, editorial. Implicit. Why does the editorial mention the involvement of the USS, NTSB and FAA? One sentence talks about probing, investigation. In that sentence, you have seen a few organizations have been mentioned. And what does it imply? To highlight the political dimensions? No. To emphasize the global collaboration in aviation safety investigations. It reflects the global collaboration. Exactly. B is the answer. That's very good. Those who have got it right. Now we have questions based on exam topics like error location, fillers, synonyms, all these. First one, identify the part of the sentence with an error location. These questions are based on yesterday's editorial. In a way, you can consolidate and practice questions based on exam topics. Koneru Hampi ensured that there was a Indian or an Indian. Obviously, there's an error here. Before a word that begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we have to use an Indian, that's right. This question is based on fillers. India is out world beaters in chess with remarkable consistency. Yes, that's right. Many students have got it right. Thank you. Who is this? Sai Medha. Wish you the same. Thank you very much. Here, India is defeating out, not correct. Establishing out, no. Dismantling out, no. Churn out. We got this also. Churn out means what? To produce in large quantities. Churning out. Yes, B is the answer. Synonym. Choose a synonym of remarkable as used in the passage. Remarkable performance, remarkable something, remarkable person. It's a positive word. Based on that, ordinary, no. Mundane, no. Overrated, no. What is it? Outstanding. Very good. I see a lot of students have got it right. Antonym. Choose antonym of inevitability. Inevitable means what? Certain to happen. Unstoppable. Unavoidable. What is opposite? Element of doubt. Very good. Naveen, first one to respond. I think Uday also. Uncertainty, not these. Answer is what? No. First, A is the answer. Uncertain. Inevitable means certain. And uncertain is the opposite. Scramble sentences. Rearrange the parts of the sentence to form a coherent one. Coherence means smooth and logical flow of sentences. You got to be a little careful. Focus on punctuation as well. 4. What is the correct order? Don't be hasty. Question number 5, you got to be a little careful. No one has responded. 5 is not, see, 5th question, very good. Jayalakshmi and Manoj, Naveen and Rai, I suppose, many students, wonderful. A few states, you may think like, but you cannot, you may think R is the first one. No. What is the first one here? Except for a few states like Tamil Nadu, there is a comma. Chess in India still faces recognition and support issues. So here, SRPQ, which option is that? Very good. That is the answer. Wonderful. Phrase replacement. The sentence below is underlined. Choose the best replacement. India is now to world chess what the Soviet Union was for decades. So what can be replaced here? As influential as the Soviet Union, similar to the Soviet Union in its heyday, what it was during the Soviet Union's dominance, remains less influential. You got to be careful, this one also. Answer is not, answer is B. Karthik has got it right. And also Naveen and Manoj. Here, Soviet Union was for decades. It was a dominant, chess was very popular. Similar to the Soviet Union in its heyday. Heyday means the best period, when something is very popular. B is the answer. Not that easy, a little challenging. We have contextual fillers, 2 blanks. Chess is younger and younger, and Humpy had to face younger rivals in the tournament. Becoming younger and younger, had to face several, seems right. Evolving younger and younger, no. Maturing younger and younger, ridiculous. Growing is okay, but a little younger rivals, wrong. So what is the answer here? Becoming, yes, very good. Who is this? Basha from Nanjala, I suppose. 7A is the answer. Very good. Becoming younger and younger, Humpy had to face several younger rivals. The last question also deals with contextual fillers, 2 blanks. India's as a chess superpower is largely due to support from families, corporate sponsors and coaches. India's what? Emergence, enormous. Reputation, lack of. We cannot use a negative one. We need a positive one. And all these are negative words. Based on that, what is the answer? India's emergence as a chess superpower is largely due to enormous support from families, corporate sponsors and coaches. Answer is A. Very good. I appreciate you guys. You have responded so well. And important words, important aspects, do spend some time. That habit will help in the long run. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow, regular time, 9 to 10. On the eve of the new year, today I had to change the time slot to 12 noon. But tomorrow, as usual, morning 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thank you very much. My pleasure.